Hey, what's up? Welcome to Degen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the chart behind me, which is of natural gas. And so for this video, I'm primarily going to focus on ticker symbol BOIL or BOIL, which is the 2x leveraged natural gas ETF. And the reason for that is because that personally is what I am holding. And so I just kind of want to go over my plan with this video serving as like a trading journal. And, feel free to comment if you think my ideas are bad or if you think they're good, whatever your thoughts are. But yeah, I'm just going to go over a few levels that stand out to me as the price is going up, and I suspect it will continue to go up. What's my strategy for protecting, my holdings and securing gains, things like that. Because, I don't want to be holding the bag anymore. I've been holding the bag for a little while. And and I think it's going to be time to take profits, in the next few months or so. So what's my plan? And so basically, looking at the natural gas chart, we see this downtrend that I've gone over. We've broken out of that, and we did, fill the gap that was here and close above it. And so the close for natural gas on the day, January 3rd, looks like it's, I think it's still moving a little bit. I see this tick clock going down, 40 minutes left. And so it's right around $2.63. And so where do I see this going? One level that I see is this 618 retracement, red dashed line, right around like 267, 268, and then going up to this orange dashed line, 278, and then again this yellow solid line right around $3, and then this purple line, dashed line, based on the lows from October, and or I should say lows of October 20th and 23rd. And so I'm going to just relate those to BOIL now. And so here's the BOIL chart. I've got those lines. And so for me personally, I think this is really interesting. My average ended up being this white line at $35.20. In earlier videos, I had thought that we might see a bottom around the end of November, and price during that day hit $3.20 closing, having a low of $35.17 with a close at $36.26. And so during that day, that's where my average was. And so there's this saying, I think with Bitcoin, that you don't get the price you want, you get the price you deserve. And so this, I think, is a nice example of, I started averaging in too early, bought pretty heavily down here, ended up with the price that I deserved on this day. And so, what are my thoughts moving forward? I have a much larger position than I had intended to establish because it went much lower than I expected. But with that, I'm becoming like more emotional about this trade. And so I want to make sure that I take a little bit off the table once I am in the money, in profit, in the green, just so I can buy the dip if it does dip more, and so I can comfortably hold for longer term without having money locked into this play. And so basically what I see is that red line, dashed line that I've drawn over here. That translates to, with BOIL, a price of right around $36.15 based on the lows here. And so for me, I might trim a small amount of my position then, but I do think that 38.38, this orange line, which corresponds to the lows over here, could be visited as well. So, better to wait and hold for that. And then this yellow line, this solid line, I feel like that seems like a pretty realistic target. It's $42.80. And that is, based on this, a 382 Fibonacci retracement right around $3. And so just psychologically, $3 makes sense. There is a lot of, sentiment suggesting that we're, at the bottom, going to be squeezing up, especially in the winter months, middle of January. There could be some weather that causes natural gas to be used more to heat houses and whatnot. So I do think that could be going a lot higher. And then I do have these other lines, this like green, blue, and purple dashed lines based on these prior levels. Let's see, got to zoom out to get that green one. But I think because there was I believe a split or a reverse split around this time, this green and blue line, they don't really translate to the chart over here, but this purple one does, being the lows October 23rd. So that's right around here, October 23rd right there. So kind of skip some levels. So I don't know how realistic it is that this would go back to 57. But, if we look at the chart here, that's at a price of $3.17. And I did just go over how natural gas is forecast to have an average of $3.50. So I do think that is feasible. It just might take a longer time to wait for it. And so I'm thinking, I might trim maybe a fifth or a sixth of my position when going to these levels, so that if it does pull back, I can feel comfortable buying the dip. And I can also feel comfortable holding on to the next level, not being antsy. So that's kind of my plan. Maybe you guys think it's a good strategy. Maybe you don't think it is, and you'd encourage, diamond handing and whatnot. But for me, it's, a lot about emotion and controlling that. And so that's kind of my plan, my strategy. And I also do want to point out this uptrending channel that we've been in. If I do move this back a little bit, it looks like today we broke out of that. But if I move the channel over, it looks like we might be getting a rejection from the top of that, maybe pulling back tomorrow, January 4th. But I do think that there's a lot of strength, and I do think that 29.46, the low here, I do think that will be key level to not close below, and specifically with Boyle. And especially with us closing at 32.14, I think things are looking pretty good. So I'm excited about it. And if you found this video helpful, make sure you like it, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching, and Happy New Year.